Okay, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to today's SoilWorks training webinar. So my name is Daryl, and today I'll be going over just the basic commands and functions of the foundation module. Okay, so if you look at your screen, as you can see, I've already completed this particular project ahead of time, just in the interest of time. But what I'll do is I'll just sort of just go through the basic steps you need to go through in order to create your model. Okay, so if you look to the upper left corner here under Foundation, if you click on that, you'll get your main commands. And as you can see, all the icons are separated very easily along with each step. So when you're creating your model, the best way to go about it is to start from the left under Properties, over here on Ground Material Properties, and then slowly work your way to the right until you're ready for your analysis. So the very first step with your project is to set or to define your ground material properties. So first, I would just click on the Ground Material Property tab. Okay, so as you can see, I've already defined 4 different layers for this project. And with each layer, I've defined just the color I want to assign it, as well as the model type, and along with the general parameters. So as you can see, it's very easy just to input all of your values according to your needs. And to change between each one. So say for example I wanted to add another layer. What I would do is I would just type in like 5. I'd type in maybe hard rock, and then I could just choose from the menu here, hard rock, and then I could just click add. And then my layer would be created. So now I have like 5 different layers to choose from. But for example, for this particular project, I'll only be using these 4 layers, so this won't be necessary. But once again, I can create as many layers or as many properties as I would need for my project here. Okay. So once you have your ground material properties defined, you can also, another good thing to remember is that with SoilWorks, all of your work is recorded in the work menu or the work tree. So if you look to the left here, as you can see, all of my layers have been defined, and then I can just intuitively just click on each one to check, and then I could just modify them from here as well. So once again, if you ever feel at a point where at your loss or you have like so much data that you're sort of having a hard time keeping track of it, you can just turn to the works tree and everything is organized for you. And it's very easy to just perform your modifications from here once you become more acquainted with the software. But anyway, moving on. So once you have your ground material properties defined, you can define your structural properties or your elements for your particular structure. So just click on it. And as you can see for this project, I have 2 cast-in-place concrete piles. One is 1.5 meter in diameter, and the second is 2 meters in diameter. And as you can see, the stiffness is calculated just immediately according to the diameter that you input. So if I were to put like a 3 meter diameter pile, the calculation would just be automatic. As you can see, element types, these are the types that you have to choose from. So say for example, if you wanted a steel pipe pile, or a PHC pile, you can just click from the menu. Or if you have like maybe a more unique pile, just click User Defined Pile, and then you have various shapes available to you as well. And also, if a particular shape isn't included in the database, you can just define it yourself. So once again, for this particular project, I'll just have 2 cast-in-place piles, one 1.5 meter in diameter, 1 and 2. But once again, according to the needs of your project, or if you want to try different pile types, you can define as many as you'd like. And also just for the material data, so as you can see, there's materials for concrete and steel. So if at any point you need to maybe change these properties, you can just input them yourself. So the material properties can be user defined as well. So you have a full range of control over your structural properties. Okay. So once I have my properties defined, now I can get to the actual modeling of the project itself. So the next step will be soil layer information. So just click on this tab. And as you can see, I have my 4 layers defined already, along with their corresponding depths and ground material properties. And once again, just according to your project site, you can include as many soil layers as you'd like. You could just input it over here, and then add a corresponding depth and a ground material property, and another layer would be created. And once again, you can just easily add and modify it from the work tree. Okay. So once I have my soil layer information defined, now I'd move on to my foundation types. Okay. So as you can see, I have 2 different pile configurations created. One's a 3x5 pile configuration with a 1.5 meter diameter pile, and the other is a 3x3 configuration with a 2 meter diameter pile. And as you can see, the footing sizes have been defined as well. along with my different the different placing, the different sections, or the now it's all sort of inputted in the spreadsheet. There you go. It's inputted in this spreadsheet, so you can easily just sort of choose your position. And also you can choose the type of the fixed ends you'd like, along with your head conditions as well. And then also you can change your pile lengths according to your needs. So another great thing about the software is that it's very easy to create your models. So say for example I have maybe a unique pile configuration that I need that doesn't fall within a 3x3 range, or that isn't equally spaced. So what I could do is I could just click on the piles themselves. Whoops. Click on the piles themselves and I can move them. I can move them to be at a skew. I could also delete them according to my needs as well. So it's very easy just to click on the work window itself and to create your pile configuration. And if I want to reset, I could just press the pile button, and your configuration is set. So as you can see, once more, I have just 2 pile configurations created for this particular project. But according to the needs of my project, I can create as many pile configurations as I would like. Oh, and another important thing to note is you can also sort of change your beta and rotation angles. So say for example you have a particular pile that maybe you'd want at an angle. You just input your particular beta angle, and the program will change that for you. Okay. So once again, as you can see, as I'm progressing with my project, I'm just moving further towards the analysis portion. So defining the PY curve, this is a simpler project, so I'll just skip this step for now because this actually isn't, this particular data isn't included. So I'll just move over to the foundation load. So as you can see, for this project I only have 1 load set created, but with an actual project obviously you would have various load combinations, and then you'd have your minimum and your maximum load as well. So within the spreadsheet you can just create as many design loads as you'd like. So if I created, like say, a load over here, and I just entered it, as you can see, another row is set. So once again, you can create as many load sets as you'd like. Okay, and then once, and as also it's important to know, like with these pictures here, you can just easily visualize the loads you're inputting. As you can see here, just my loads. I only have my design load, but once again, with like an actual project, your load list can be quite lengthy, but they'll all be sort of kept track of just in the work window here. Okay, and now I'll just define my water level. So for this project, I haven't defined my water level yet, so let's just define it now. So all I have to do is just type in water level in the boundary set. And then let's say, I don't know, 6 meters for this project. Type OK, and it's created. And then if you just click on your work window under boundaries water level, there you go. As you can see, the water level just shows up on your work window. Okay. So now we're getting close to the analysis portion, but before we move on to that, we just need to define our analysis cases. So as you can see, I already have 2 analysis cases defined, so let's take a look at one of them. Okay, so for this one I have the diameter equals 1.5 meters, and it's a 3x5 configuration, so I've already dragged and dropped this particular pile configuration into the analysis case box. And then also I've dragged and dropped my design load into the box as well. But I still have to input my water level, so what I'll do is I'll just select water level, and then I'll drag and drop it. And now that it's dragged and dropped into the analysis box, the water level will be taken into consideration when the analysis is performed. So click OK. And then I would just do the same for the next analysis case as well. So as you can see, for this one, instead of D equals 1.5, I have D equals 2000 for my foundation type. Design load stays the same. And then I'll just drag and drop my water level over. And once again, this option becomes very useful when you have multiple design loads that you're trying out. So it's very easy to choose from the input data menu the various sort of load combinations that you're going to be using in each particular analysis case. So it's very easy with a drag and drop feature just to visualize the certain parameters or the certain elements and loads and boundaries that will be taken into consideration for each and every analysis case. So once again, I just have these 2 analysis cases that I'll be going over, or that I'll be analyzing with the program. Okay. So now that all of that's been defined, I'm ready to perform my analysis. So SoilWorks has a report generation feature that actually takes your analysis and puts it into a report format for you. But since that could take a couple of minutes to run, what I'll do is I'll just run the report for now, and then after we're done going through the analysis results, I'll pull up a sample report for everyone to look at. So once again, I'll just be performing the analysis. So as you can see here, my analysis cases, and say for example, maybe I didn't want to do this analysis case just in the interest of time, I could check it off and it would only do this one. So like this option becomes especially useful when you're performing analysis over and over again, and you just want to just maybe to do alterations on one particular analysis case, and you only need maybe a couple of pilot configurations that you want to analyze. So once again, this allows you to save time in the long run, even though the analysis doesn't take very long. So anyway, for this one, I'll have both pilot configurations being analyzed. So now I'm ready for my analysis, and I'll click Perform Analysis. Okay. So this will just take a moment for the program to run the analysis. It should only take about a minute and a half or so because we only have 2 pilot configurations. And depending on the number of pilot configurations that you're analyzing, along with, I guess, the level of detail that you need in your analysis, this can take a couple of minutes to maybe a little bit longer. But overall, it doesn't take very long. And it's very easy to just run other applications on your computer as you're waiting for the program to perform the analysis. Okay, so one pilot configuration has been analyzed, and now we'll have to simply just wait for this last one, and then we'll be ready to check out post-processing. Okay, perfect. So now we're in post-processing, and as you can see, the program has all the analysis results formatted and organized for me. So first, let's take a look at these graphs here. So we have the horizontal displacement, the moment, the shear force, and the ground reactions for each of our piles. So if I wanted to go between piles and to see the graphs for each, I could just click on the piles themselves. It's very easy. And also, I have my, just let me click on this here. I also have my spreadsheets for each pile configuration in each pile. So as you can see, I have my maximum vertical displacement, my maximum horizontal displacement, my vertical force, my shear force, and my moments, all organized in a very easy spreadsheet. And what's really great about this feature is that instead of having to extract your results from the program and put it to an Excel file and then create your graph, the program actually just cuts out that step and creates the graphs immediately for you. So once again, you can click on the piles themselves to get your results, or you can go between your menus as well. So as you can see, it's long, sort of a spreadsheet of data, and it's very in-depth, but it's all very easy for you to access. And then also you can click on your PY curve for each. And then another great thing is that instead of having several different pile configurations in several different files, all of your analysis has been performed in one file. So as you can see, I can just easily go from that pile configuration to the 3x3 pile configuration. And now I can just click on my various piles and get the graphs for each. And I have the same spreadsheets for this particular pile configuration as well. So it's very easy for me to compare and contrast the results from each pile configuration. And then this is particularly useful when you have several or maybe even a dozen pile configurations. You can just scroll down the work window and then compare your various displacements and your moments as you're searching for the design that works best for your particular project. So this is because of the SoilWorks' ability to analyze multiple pile configurations. This has saved our clients a lot of time when it comes to choosing the best pile configuration that works for their project. So they have just one file that has all these different pile configurations, and it's very easy, intuitive for them to just select which one works best and to look through all the results. Okay, so I also mentioned that the program will create or will automatically generate a report for you. So what I have actually prepared is a copy of the Word document for this particular project. So, okay, this is actually the report that was generated for this project by SoilWorks. So as you can see, it creates a table of contents for you, and then it organizes all of your results. So all of the results that you saw in that post-processing table are now in this Word document, and it's all been formatted for you. So you have your corresponding spreadsheets with the pictures. You have your visual representation as well. So this is a very in-depth report. It has all of the analysis results included. There's your spreadsheets and your graphs. And this goes on for quite a while. It's a very in-depth report. And as you can see, it's a 360-page report, but the program was able to create this within a couple of minutes. So this is something that could save you a lot of time in the long run. Especially, I have a great sort of appreciation for this particular feature because, one of my first jobs was as an intern, and my responsibilities included, lots of things. One of them was to create these reports from analysis results. And that was a task that could take me a couple of hours up to maybe even a couple of days, depending on the length and the detail of the report. So once again, instead of having to, set aside a couple of hours to, create your formatting and to create this Word document, the program will create it for you. So this is something that's very easy, very convenient. And say, for example, you're not satisfied with the results of your analysis. Say you had to redo something. You could just run your analysis again and then have the program generate another report for you. So you don't have to go back into the report itself and make the changes. You can just have the program rerun the analysis for you. Okay. So that about concludes this particular training session. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that we did send you guys a slopes tutorial. So for example, if you'd like to try out this project yourself, you can easily just go through this tutorial here. So it's SoilWorks Tutorials, Foundation for PY Analysis. As you can see, it has all of the steps sort of defined for you. So say you want to maybe go through a review or compare and contrast with a current project, you can just follow these very easily outlined steps, and you can model this particular project yourself. So as you become more experienced and more aware of the software's capabilities, you'll be able to very quickly create your models. The first time I did this particular tutorial, it took me about 3 hours, but now I can probably model it in about 15 to 20 minutes. And I've only been using SoilWorks for about 3 months myself. So once again, as you become more acquainted with the software through the use of these tutorials, you'll be much better able to handle your own projects. And it does have a very soft learning curve, and also we're here for technical support. So if you ever have a question, or if you have any comments, or you ever get stuck with one of your projects, you can feel free to contact us, and we'll be sure to help you out. Okay. And also, just one last thing before I wrap up. Say, for example, you want to maybe redo something, and you want to go in pre-processing. If you go up to this tab here, as you can see, it has the lock is closed, which means I'm in post-processing or I'm in analysis. But now, say I want to make a couple of changes, I just click on this tab, and it would take me back to pre-processing again. Now, the thing to remember is that whenever you go back to pre-processing and you make a change, say, for example, I want to, I don't know, delete my water level, this will pop up. So before you make a change, make sure that you want to go through with it, because when you do make a change in pre-processing, all of your analysis results will be deleted. In other words, you'll have to run the analysis again. So that's just one thing to sort of watch out for when you're going back into pre-processing. Just make sure that the revision is necessary before you make it, because you could lose some time in having to run the analysis again. Okay, so once again, that concludes my presentation for today. Thanks again for your time and attention. And I'll open the I guess I'll open it up for questions now. So if anybody has like questions about anything I've discussed, feel free to just type it into the chat box, and I'll be sure to address it as best as I can. Thank you. Okay, so someone, all right. So someone just wanted to see the different sort of structural properties that were available to you. So let me just open the tab again. So structural property. So once again, here are the different structural types or element types that are available to you. So here's your PHC pipe. And oh yeah, just going back to your question, you asked if you could sort of do like a combination. So you could do like a concrete pipe with a steel reinforcement in here. All you'd have to do is just define your values over here. And you could sort of model that according to your needs. Okay? All right, so thank you for that question, and I hope that sort of clarifies everything for you. Okay, so someone just asked how to create another analysis case. So this is something I went over, but I probably went over it a little bit too fast, so I'll go over it again. So once again, here are your two analysis cases. And say, for example, I wanted to create another one. I would just click Add. I would, type the name of the case. And then I could just, add, what things I wanted to put into the into this analysis case. So say I didn't want to take into account the water level. So I could just leave that out. I could click OK. Just click yes for that. And then, your analysis case is created. And then if I wanted to get rid of it, I just click delete. So once again, you could create as many analysis cases as you'd like. Just sort of keep in mind that the more analysis cases you create, the longer your analysis will take. Okay, so someone just asked how I changed my units. So this is actually my fault. This is something I should have addressed at the very beginning. So before you start your project, obviously you're going to want to set your units. So if you want to change your units, you just go to the bottom right corner, and you can just make the changes according to your needs. And then if you say I change this from kilonewtons to kips, the program will just automatically change all the values for me. So sorry I forgot to mention that, guys. Yeah, so if you ever need to make any changes with your units, here's where you need to go. Okay, so I think that's about it for any questions. Just one last call. If anybody has any questions, now you can just get them into me. Okay, sounds good. So once again, if anybody needs any help later on in the week as we're evaluating SoilWorks, feel free to contact me. Let me just put my contact information up. So once again, my name is Daryl. I'm just a civil engineer here at Microsoft. And if you have any questions about this presentation or about SoilWorks in general, feel free to send me an email or to give me a phone call. So once again, thank you for your time and your attention. Thanks for your questions. And good luck with SoilWorks. And once again, if you need help with anything, don't hesitate to contact us. All right, so have a good day. Take care. Okay, Matt, sorry, I missed your question. I just saw it on my screen. So I sent you the answer through the private chat box. But just for everybody, I guess if anybody's still here, once again, Matt asked if the program can actually optimize your design for you. In other words, if it cannot find the optimal design for the size of your footing as well as your pile configuration, your pile sizing. So the answer for that is no. Currently, the software can't create your optimal design for you. You just need to sort of, using your results, you'd be able to find your optimal design. So once again, that's something that could be used or that could be incorporated in later versions of the software. But currently, you'll just sort of have to use your results. But something that's really good about SoilWorks is that because of its ability to analyze multiple file configurations at once, you can actually just sort of go through your various cases individually, compare and contrast them, and find the best one, a lot faster than you could with other programs. So thanks for the question, Matt, and sorry I was sort of late in answering it. Okay, so once again, thanks for your time, everybody, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.